Yeah, welcome you once again, Mark, and all of you. I'm just started recording. If some of the invitees, not able to join today, I will forward the recording to them. So I think we are going to start now. I'm going to mute. Mark, you can go ahead now.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about estate planning. So what I usually do is I like to talk for about 20 minutes and go over, three major topics, right? All about estate planning. So what is estate planning? What are the documents that come with estate planning and why you need those documents? So we'll talk for about 20 minutes. And then if you can, if there's any questions that you have, feel free to put them in the chat window and then we'll answer them after my presentation. So again, thank you for joining me. And so like the screen says, when you think about estate planning, you think about protecting your wealth and your health. And how do you do that, right? You do it through estate planning. So like he said, I'm Mark Sterneman, Vice President of NetLaw. So what is NetLaw? NetLaw is an online technology company, and we created a DIY product for estate planning. NetLaw is created out of a law office in Louisville, Kentucky, called Hargrove Madden. Hargrove Madden only serves wealth clients in the estate planning world. And what you do at the law office is you come in, you speak to one of our attorneys, and you get your documents done. The great thing is you got your documents done. The bad thing is you spent a lot of money to get it. So what we did at NetLaw is we wanted to come up with a way of how do we reach everyone and be able to get them the estate planning documents that they need at an affordable price. And the easy answer was technology, right? So we created NetLaw, IT company. And what we did is we went out and we got 50 attorneys, one in each state. And what we did is we created a software and then we brought in each attorney to put in their input to help us develop the software so that when you went through the NetLaw plan, you got the same exact documents that you would get if you were sitting in front of the attorney and he created them himself or herself, right? So you're getting state-specific legal documents through the NetLaw system. We won the James Keene Award for Innovative Excellence by the American Bar Association. That award is given out to the company that has the best online delivery of legal documents. To this day, we are the only one in estate planning that's won that award. So when the American Bar Association says that you have the best online delivery of legal documents, you know you're doing something right. And some of our biggest competitors like LegalZoom, LegalShield, right? Companies you've heard of, we've all heard of those companies. They spend millions and millions of dollars each year on advertising. They haven't won that award. Mainly because they focus on a lot of things, right? A lot of things that they can do. We only focus on estate planning. And we only offer 5 plans. 90% of what we do is in the second column. It's our premium probate avoidance package. I'm going to really concentrate on that column. Everything that you see in that column, you receive for the $600 package. This plan right here in our law office, and I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. So in Louisville, Kentucky, this plan goes from $3,500 to $5,000, depending on what attorney you talk to. So I kind of want to go over all of these documents and kind of give a reason of why you want to do it, right? So let's get started. When you start thinking about estate planning, everybody thinks about will and trust, right? And they treat it like it's one document. But really, it's 2 separate documents. Let's talk about the first one, the last will and testament, your will, right? Why do you do a will? Well, there's 3 reasons. The first one, you're going to name an executor. Who's going to be in charge when you pass away, right? So you name an executor. That person's responsible for paying bills, paying your final taxes, making sure that your assets get distributed to the right person, the person of your choosing. That person, now I know a lot of you all are probably first generation Indian over here in the US, right? Your executor can be someone from India. It can be someone here from the States. It's your choice. You get to choose. So I just want to make that clear anytime that I'm doing a presentation for a mass Indian audience, that, you know, when you go through your choices of who's going to play a role, it can be someone from overseas or it can be someone here from the US. So that's the first reason you want to do your will. You name an executor. The second, if you're a parent and you have children under the age of 18, you need to name a guardian. If something happens to you and your spouse, who's going to raise your kids? So you need to name someone. Again, that can be someone from overseas or someone here in the US. And the third reason you do a will, it's called specific bequest. That's simply listing all of your assets and the beneficiaries that are going to receive them. Together, those three reasons are why we do a will. The next line item is children's trust, right? So if you know, and this kind of sticks with the guardian theme. If you pass away, and do you want your kids to receive their inheritance at age 18? If you do, great. You don't have to do anything. That's how it is in all 50 states. But if you don't want them to receive that lump sum at age 18, you can string it out a little bit. Maybe you give a third of it at age 21, and then a third of it at age 25, and maybe the remainder at age 35, right? Because I know if I was 18 and I received a large lump of money, I would have spent it. I would have blown right through it. So you can see the advantage of spreading it out a little bit. So even in our passing, we can still protect our kids. The third line item, durable financial power of attorney. We all know what that is. That's our power of attorney. So, you know, who's going to make our financial decisions if we're unable to do so for ourselves, right? So maybe you're overseas, you're visiting family. Who's going to write your bills here? If you were trying to sell your house, they could help sign the paperwork for you because they have the ability to make your financial decisions for yourself. So important to have that document. The next three that I'm going to talk about are our healthcare decisions. And a lot of people don't think about healthcare decisions being part of your estate planning, but it really is. And the first document is your healthcare surrogate. That's just like your financial power of attorney, but it's for medical decisions, right? Who's going to make your medical decisions if you can't speak for yourself? Who's going to speak to the doctors and nurses on your behalf and let them know what your wishes are, right? That's your healthcare surrogate. You also get to name a HIPAA authorization agent. That's someone who can see your medical charts, your psychotherapy notes. Again, healthcare surrogate and HIPAA authorization are usually the same person, but they can be different people. But they work so closely together, you know, usually people go ahead and name the same person for that. And the last healthcare document is advance directive. It's called a living will in some states. That's simply your end of life decisions. Do you want to live as long as possible? Be hooked up to a machine, fed nutrition intravenously? Or do you just want to pass naturally, right? When it's time, just let me go. Your decision, right? You should be making this decision, no one else. This is why we do these documents. We have a pet trust. Remember, we're out of Kentucky, so a lot of our clients at the law office were horse farm owners. But really what it was designed for is your dog, your cat, your rabbit, right? You have an animal and you pass away. Well, who's going to take that animal, right? You can leave them a little bit of money behind for vet bills, boarding, food. It helps pay the expenses of taking on that animal. And then the last one, which is the big one, is our revocable living trust. Remember when I first started, I said, everybody thinks about will and trust like it's one document. Again, two separate documents that do two separate things. We've talked about the will. Now let's finish with the trust. The trust is a holding document. You fund your assets like your home, car, boat, vacation home. Anything that has a deed or title, you can fund that into the trust and the trust becomes the property owner. And why do you want to do that? Well, you're still the trustee of your account, so you still own that fully. You still have all the power over it. But inside the trust, it's probate avoidance. Probate is the process where when you pass away, all of your assets are frozen from anywhere from 30 to 180 days. All of your assets are frozen. Creditors have time to come in and take what's owed to them first. Then what's left is passed to your beneficiaries. Any asset that you fund into that trust avoids probate. It gets passed right away. And even if you have property overseas, you can still fund that asset into this trust. So those are all of the documents that come in our $600 plan. And like I said, 90% of what we do is this plan right here. There's also three, I like to call them comes with, right? We have a Life Vault. It's our cloud storage system. You can store all of your important documents in this vault. It has 100 gigabytes of data, so you should never run out of storage space. And you can store anything you want in there, right? Your estate planning documents, of course. But how about deeds to houses, titles to cars, life insurance policies, right? Tax information, pictures, videos, anything that you can store in there, great. Anything you don't want to lose, that's where you want to put it. The spouse's plan is included as well. So the husband gets to create his full sets of documents. The wife gets to create her full set of documents, all for $600. And then we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you try the program out and you don't like it, as long as you don't download any documents, we'll refund your money back. All of that for $600. Now, we do have some people that come up and say, hey, you know, we really need this, but we just can't afford $600. No problem. We have a financing option, $60 a month for 12 months. All of these documents are revocable. That means you can go in and change them at any time. So you can store as much information into your vault. You can make any edits as many times as you want in the first year. The $600 plan, or if you're doing the $60 for 12 months, covers you for the first year. If you want to keep your account open and active after the first year, it's just $8 a month to continue the program. That's optional. You don't have to do it. You can cancel out of it. But when you cancel out of it, you lose the ability to store more information into your vault, and you lose the ability to go in and edit any documents. Now, let's say 10 months down the road, you closed your account out, but something happens and you need to get back into your plan and make a change. No problem. You don't have to pay the $600 again. All we charge is $8 a month for however many months you were closed. So if it was 10 months, we'd only charge you $80 to reopen your account. If it was 10 years, we cap that fee at $250. So we're still keeping this as affordable as possible. So the most you'll ever pay to open your account back up is $250. And then you'll continue the $8 after that or cancel it again. Now remember, 90% is what we do in that. I'm going to briefly talk about the other 4 plans that we offer, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them because we just don't sell a whole lot of them. The first plan, the Essentials package, $400. It's the same exact plan as the $600 package, except it does not include the revocable probate avoidance trust. That's the only difference. In the middle column, we have a life insurance trust that's irrevocable. This is the only document that we have that's irrevocable. Once you create it, you can't change it. And this is only for your life insurance policies. You can take those policies and transfer it into the trust. It helps out with the beneficiary on taxes when they cash it out. And then we have 2 starter packages, I like to call them. This is really designed for 18, 19-year-olds. They just became adults. They're either headed to the workforce or they're headed to school. These packages include the power of attorney and the healthcare documents. The only difference is the FERPA consent form for college. The student signs that form, and it gives permission for the parents or the guardians to call up the school to find out about grades, conduct. If the student gets hurt at school, the school can call the parents and let them know what's going on. Without that form, the student's over 18, so the family can't find out anything because of HIPAA laws. So it's a very important document. Again, all of those documents for 1 year, and then after the first year, they all renew at $8 a month as well. So I have a lot of people that call up and have questions about the $8. And they're like, well, why would I ever want to change my documents in the first place? I created this slide here to kind of give you reasons of why you would ever want to change your documents. I'm not going to go over all of them, but you know, the first one, how about the one at 12 o'clock, right? Change in marital status. Like I said, the plan comes with the spouse's documents. But what happens if you buy this and you're single and 3 or 4 years later you get married? Great, you can add your spouse on as long as you have that open and active account. Or reverse, what happens if you get divorced, right? You'll want to take your ex-spouse out and add other people in to make your decisions for you. The last one I'm going to talk about is relocation to a new state. This is very important. So let's say you live in Texas and you do your documents through an attorney there. Great, you got your documents, but you get a job and you move to Kentucky where I'm at. Well, now you got to redo your documents because remember, each state has its own estate planning laws. So now you have to go see an attorney in Kentucky and get your documents done again through an attorney. You got to pay that $3,500 to $5,000 to get it done again. The great thing with NetLaw, if you have a NetLaw account, all you do is you log into your account, you change your address, you re-upload your documents to the new state's documents, print them out and get them witnessed and notarized. You're done. How easy was that? You don't have to go see an attorney every time you need to make a change to any document. That's expensive just in its own. Going to change 1 or 2 documents at an attorney's office will cost you $250, $350, $400. Our whole program just costs $600. So you can see the value. So I've kind of talked about what NetLaw is. I've talked about estate planning and the fundamentals of it. And I've talked about all the documents. Now I want to kind of dig in and give you 4 good reasons of why do you do estate planning in the first place, right? And there's 4 big reasons why. The first one is you decide who gets your assets. Remember I said in the will, in the specific bequest section, this is where you list all of your assets and the beneficiaries that's going to receive them. But if you don't name your assets, the court system will come in and decide who gets your assets. And it may not be to the people that you want. This is why it's so important to make sure that we do our will, that we list our assets and we list who the beneficiaries are so that our wishes are followed through and not anyone else's. These are our decisions. We need to make sure that our decisions are finalized, right? And sticking with the theme of the court system making our decisions, if you're a parent and you have minor children in the will, make sure you name a guardian. If you don't name a guardian for your children, again, the court system will decide for you. And there's going to be a major custody battle, right? The mom side of the family is going to be fighting for the kids. The dad side is going to be fighting for the kids. And the kids are just going to be stuck in the middle seeing everybody fighting over them. It's so important to solve all of these issues just by creating your will, right? Again, your decisions. Don't let anybody else make your decisions for you. The third reason, avoiding probate, right? We talked about probate a little bit when I was talking about the trust. But if you know anybody who's went through the probate process, it is a pain. It's time consuming, it's expensive. If you fight the probate process, you have to go to court. You got to get an attorney. Or If you don't want to fight it, you still got to wait the 30 to 180 days for the probate process to finalize. Then your beneficiaries get the assets. So it's so easy to make sure that all of that is taken care of by just simply funding your assets into the trust, so that your assets are given to your beneficiaries right away. They don't have to wait. And lastly, our medical decisions, right? It's so important to have our medical power of attorney. That's our healthcare surrogate. Someone who's going to speak for us when we can't speak for ourselves. And how about the importance of our living will, right? Advanced directives, end of life decisions. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. If your parents are laying in a hospital, no child should ever have to decide on their own, do I need to pull the plug on mom and dad? Right? Nobody should ever have to make that decision for anybody. That's why we do this. That's why we create our healthcare directives, right? To make sure that our family knows our decisions. Hey, it's okay. Unplug me. I don't want to go through this. Let me go. Or, hey, I know that they wanted to live as long as possible. I'm keeping that thing plugged in. Our decisions. So why NetLaw, right? I'm going to end on this screen, but there's 4 reasons why NetLaw. Personal. I have talked about this the whole presentation. Personal. Your decisions. You make them. Don't let anybody else make them for you. You can name your executors, your guardians, where your assets are going to go, who's going to receive them, and when they're going to receive them. Your decisions. Conversational. You know, the worst thing you can do is create your estate plan and not let anybody know you did it. How are they going to know the documents exist? Make sure that people know that, hey, if something happens to me, I've done my will, I've done my trust, I've created my healthcare documents. Here's where they are. Digital. Remember, we're a tech company. Your account is open 24/7. We're not a law office. Right? If you need a document, you need to print one, you need to change one over the weekend, you can do it with us. The attorney's office is closed. If you need it right away, you can get it. We're always open. And done. 60% of Americans don't have a will. 90% don't have all the documents that we have in our $600 package. That's from a Bloomberg report. So scary numbers. 6 out of every 10 people that you walk past haven't protected themselves. That's why we created NetLaw, to take this nationwide at an affordable cost that's easy to do. And remember, we won the James Keene Award from the American Bar Association. Said that we had the best online delivery of legal documents. This is our phone number and our email address. You can reach out to us, but definitely reach out to the agents that invited you to this webinar. They're your first point of contact, and if they can't help you, then give us a call. That's what we're here for. All right, that is the end of my presentation. I'm ready. I don't know if you
Yes, Mark, we have great questions coming out of the chat, and a couple of video questions, couple of guys, at least 4 or 5 questions. I think you have time for answering those questions, right?
Yep.
Okay, I think first question from California. I'm going to unmute Lavanya. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, Shashank and Lavanya, they are from California, San Diego. You can go ahead, please.
Hey, Mark, thanks for the seminar. It was informative. I have a couple of questions. As I understood, the guardians that we assign, do they need to be US citizens?
Okay. No, they can be from overseas or they can be here from the US. And the great thing is in the NetLaw program, you can name a main person, so a main guardian, and then you can name alternates. So if they can't get over here from India right away, you always have an alternate, maybe someone here in the US that can go, take the kids and have custody of them until the person from India can get over here.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And can you talk about this trust? Like, if someone who doesn't understand what is trust, how does it fit into us, and what does it do? What are the advantages? And as I understand the trust, we try to put our house into the trust and everything associated with our property. How does what is the role of trust? Like, how does what does its interfaces and to the institutes and to us as individuals?
Yeah. So the main reason you do a trust is to avoid probate. So the quick answer is you put your major assets into the trust. When you pass away, those assets in the trust are given to your beneficiaries right away. Remember, the trust that we have is only for probate avoidance. And how do you fund those? How do you fund those assets into the trust? So if it's your home, so you take the deed to your house and the trust that you created with us, and you go to the county clerk's office and you tell them that you want to do a deed transfer. And what they'll do is they'll take the deed that's in your name, they'll cancel that, they'll create a deed in the name of the trust, but you're still the trustee of your account as long as you're alive. So you don't lose any power, or you can still sell the house at any time. But that property now is owned by the trust, so it's private. That's what allows it to be given to your beneficiaries right away.
Yeah, Mark, thank you. I'm having one more question from Ramesh Tava from Detroit. I'm going to unmute. Ramesh, I just unmuted. You can go ahead with your question, please.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Beam, and thanks, Mark, for the seminar. It's very wonderful and helpful.
Sure.
I have few questions, Mark. One is, can you elaborate that executor's responsibilities when we write a will?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the executor's job is to kind of be in charge of everything. So they're responsible for all of the assets that are listed in the will and making sure that those assets get to the beneficiaries. They're also responsible for paying final bills. So, if you owe the cable company or something like that, they're making sure that your final bills are paid for. They also work with the guardians. So, if you have minor children, your children go to the guardians. And then if there's something that needs to be taken out of the trust, the guardian and the executor will agree on how much comes out and given to the child for school, for medical bills, if they need a car to get to school or work, stuff like that. So the executor is the one that's in charge of almost everything.
So does it mean that we'll have a right to withdraw the money from the banks and they will make the payments? Or does he authorize to make the payment from the bank to the school or any other place?
No, they just agree with the guardians. The guardians would handle all that.
Okay. Another question, does this will needs to be registered with that state where we live in?
No, they just need, once you're done, you print them out and you get them witnessed and notarized. That's all you have to do.
Okay. And I think one of the point you mentioned for the will, we can include all our assets globally.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do we need to write a will, both wife and husband in one will, or does it need to write a separate wills?
No, each person receives their own separate document.
Okay. So as you mentioned, the 600 is for both wife and husband.
That's correct. $600, one plan, but for both spouses.
Okay. And can this will or trust create as a revocable or irrevocable, correct?
Yeah, this trust is revocable only. The
Okay.
only document that we have that's irrevocable is that life insurance trust.
So we cannot make it as an irrevocable trust.
Correct. You cannot.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Ramesh.
about privacy and confidentiality of the NetLaw of our documents.
I'm sorry, the privacy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so all of your documents are stored in your vault. So if you don't give anybody your password and user ID, no one can get into it. So, you know, but I would always suggest that when you're done with your documents, print them out, get them witnessed and notarized, and then give a copy at least to your executor. So if something happens to you and your spouse, someone has a copy of it, right? They can't change a hard copy. Don't let them get into your plan, but at least let them have a hard copy of it. Or if you even feel comfortable with that, the executor can always call us and provide a death certificate to us, and then we can provide the documents to them after you've passed.
Yeah, I think next question from Swapna. I think before that, we want to introduce myself, Bhim Reddy, and my wife Harita. We are the hosts of this meeting, and our guest is Mark Stillman, and he's going to continue answering a couple of questions. And Swapna, you are unmuted. Please go ahead with your question, please.
Yeah, this is Swapna's husband, Jayan here. Thanks for setting up this webinar, Bhim, and thanks for walking us through this, Mark. I have a few questions. One, does the executor need to be an attorney, or can he be, or can she be anyone? Is it, what is the usual recommendation in terms of who the executor should be?
Yeah, the executor does not need to be an attorney. The only qualification is they must be over the age of 18.
Okay. Okay. Next question I had is, what happens to our will and documents if we don't renew anymore, or do we still get to download the will and the testament before renewal? I'm just trying to understand how the renewal works.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so even if you cancel your account and you're not paying the $8, your documents are still valid. They're legal documents. They're your documents. If something happens, they will stand up in court. Just the $8 just keeps your account open with NetLaw. It doesn't have anything to do with the legal documents. They're legal documents.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are going to next question. Swapna, thank you. And we are now going to Houston. I think Dilip. Who else?
No, it's fine. Thank you. I think I got my questions answered. Thanks, Bhim.
Oh, okay. And who else now? Suresh, do you have any questions, Suresh?
Can you hear me, Bhim?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate conducting this seminar. Thank you, Bhim, for organizing it. So my question is, so let's say we do the will and trust here, and we move back to India for whatever reason. So what do we do at that time? No, you muted him.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, he went on mute. It's not me.
Can you unmute?
Yeah, Mark, are you there?
No.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you.
No,
I don't know what happened. I looked up and I was on mute and I was talking and no one could hear me.
He was. I think you went on mute. We both are presenters now. We both are.
I think I went to the chat button and then hit the mute button by accident.
Okay.
It's Friday night. What can I say?
Yeah.
Suresh, after all this excitement, I forgot your question. So what is it?
Oh, no worries. My question was, so let's say if you do the will and trust here,
Yeah.
and then we move to India for a couple of years for whatever reason. So is that still valid, or do we need to redo again?
Yeah, it'll be valid if you're keeping your assets here and you're keeping them in your name and you don't sell anything. Yeah, everything would stay the same here. But remember, if you reside over there, you're going to need to do your documents over there as well.
Okay. And can we include the properties that are in India in the will and trust here?
Yes. You can say process. You just take the deed and transfer it into the U.S. trust.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Yes,
Thank you, Bim.
Suresh, I want to show the sample. I did the will and trust, and I want to show if you, Mark, if you give me permission, I want to share how the documents looks like. Okay.
Sure.
So this is my Beam Jinnah trust. So these are the set of documents. One is the living trust certificate of trust, and this is the trust agreement and directive to physicians and family or surrogates, and HIPAA authorization and medical power of attorney, and living will and testament and power of attorney. These are the documents which have finished and downloaded. Because of the privacy, I'm not going to open these documents. So these are a set of documents. If you see competitors, they will ended up in giving you 1 or 2 documents. That's all. They'll charge you full. But here, I think, Mark, we have a BOGO offer still valid for my wife Harita, and she's offering some discount for 2 families. It is 300 each, a total 600. I think that is still valid for us.
That's right. Until the end of April.
Yes.
If you buy the like the $600 plan, somebody has to buy it for 600, but then you give it away, that second plan to someone else, then most everyone is splitting the cost, right? 300 and 300. You're never going to get a deal like this for $300.
Yeah, these are the documents and will get notarized and subsequently with and submitted to the state office for the property, and wherever the documents required, these are the documents we are going to use it, right, Mark?
Yeah, that's right. And remember, the best thing is, these documents, that document that he just showed you is the same exact document if you went to an attorney in your state.
Yes.
The same exact document.
And one more question, Mark. I reached out to one of my friends in New Jersey. They took an appointment with the attorney, and he asked for 1 hour $450. But the moment when they went back and they said they need 2 more, the guys to get it signed with a witness. And next appointment, he asked 400 more. So they said, they ended up in paying 1,000. I think it's great value. Thanks for the NetLaw, Mark. And we are able to provide this to our community, $300 each family. So that's where we are looking for. And anyway, I'll stop the share and we'll take a few more questions. Who want to go now? I think Pradeep Pamula is asking so many questions, and let us give him a chance. Pradeep, you are unmuted now.
Yeah, hi, Bim. Thanks for letting me. Just one question. So, do we have to register the trust with the state, or we don't have to?
No, you don't have to. When you fund your trust, the county clerk's office will take care of all the recording.
Your voice got cut off, Mark.
Oh, yeah. So no, just when you go to the county clerk's office and you're doing the deed transfer, the county clerk's office will go ahead and record the new deed.
Just for the property, right?
Right. So if you're doing your car, you would go to the DMV's office and they would handle everything.
How about like this 401k and all of that investments?
Right. 401k you wouldn't put in there because it already has a named beneficiary.
Right. So we don't have to mention anything in our will or trust or anything like that?
Correct. Yeah, anything that has a named beneficiary, you should be good. Now, what I would do is anything that you don't put in the will, maybe create a separate Word document that lists all of the assets that aren't listed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That'll help the executor out a lot.
Oh, okay. And just put it in your vault and then.
Yeah, just put it in your vault or attach it to the will or the trust.
Right.
Yeah.
So guys, those who are interested, after this question hour, I'll be here still, sending you the proper links, because if you go with the subscription offer from our link, you will get $300 discount. Okay. So we'll take a few more questions. Mark, it is a question from me.
Okay.
So suppose based on this meeting, if all the participants get some handful of knowledge, some of them might grasp quickly, some of them might need some more clarification, but if they want to sign up quickly, what do they need now to get on the URL? What do they immediately need?
Yeah. So the first thing is contact Haritha, right? And she will get you the link to sign up. So from the link that she can send you, you can register for the documents right then and there. You can pay for the plan off of her link.
Okay.
So once you buy it, yeah. So I'll just go through the whole process of what's going to happen. And I think that'll answer probably 3 or 4 more questions. So you buy the plan, then you get a welcome email from us. Inside that welcome email, there's going to be a link. You click on it that says get started. You create your username and password, and that lets you right into the documents. And you get started right there. It walks you through from A to Z. And then if you want, that's when you call us. After you're finished, you can call us. We'll spend 10 minutes with you, and we'll go through your documents, make sure everything that you have in your documents is the way you really want it. And then you're done. You print them out, you get them witnessed and notarized, scan them back into your vault, and go fund your trust.
Okay, actually, when I did that, exactly I followed the same, and all I need was, it took me around 45 minutes to complete all the documents with a self-guided text like a TurboTax kind of thing. I got everything, but I got to ask 2 friends and 1 relative, their names, their email IDs, and their phone numbers. Those 3 things I want, but I finished within 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and probably for both of yours, right?
Yes, both of us.
Right. Both of you in an hour. And the example you gave in New Jersey was they went, spoke to the attorney for an hour and wasn't even close to done.